Alright guys, Coach Griff here. Today I'm taking Phil through his dynamic before we get into our circuit. I'm having him go over to the fence. We're going to work on opening our hips up, opening our groins up by doing some lateral leg swings, making sure we're really getting into those. We're going to do both sides, 5 on the right, 5 on the left. When we get done with that, we're going to turn, we're going to go front to back here. So making sure, again, we're getting those legs up nice and high, keeping the toes flexed in that dorsiflexion, staying up on the ball of our foot so we can really work on our extension through the swings. Next, we're going to work on some fast twitch recruitment here. So we're going to make sure that we're doing some toe strikes, and then we'll really work on snapping that knee up. Again, we want to work on fluid here, but we also want to make sure that we're working on the twitchiness here of the hamstring. So as we come down, we don't want to have any drop foot. We want to make sure that our toes are staying nice and flexed in that dorsiflexion. As the ball of our foot scrapes the ground, we want to drive that knee back up. So we're going to do alternate hops here. The thing about alternate hops is we want to make sure that we're not getting too in front of our body. We want to make sure that our feet are staying underneath us, our legs are staying straight, and we are staying in control and fluid throughout the duration of the movement. As we come back here, again, we're going to do something very similar to the alternate hops. That being said, we're going to keep our feet together, driving the toes up, active dorsiflexion, making sure our legs stay straight. Work on keeping your back direct here. We don't want to be too hunched over in this, and we don't want our legs kicked out in front of us like a dolphin. So I'm going to take Phil here through a straight leg run, keeping the legs straight, keeping the toes in dorsiflexion, making sure we have a good, nice, fluid arm action. It's normal for yourself to feel like you're picking up speed. That's just natural turnover taking over. As you slow down, don't stomp down. We want to save our knees here. So have a nice decel as we get ready to come to the end of the movement. Again, with sprinting, we want to make sure that we're working on the fundamentals. So I'm going to take Phil through some sprint frequency things here. That's just going to work on our stride variations. So we're going to work on ankling, and then we're going to have a transition point where we move to high knees. And then we have another transition point where we work to butt kicks. Biggest focus point here, again, is working on the form, making sure that our knees are staying up over hip level, making sure that our toes are staying in dorsiflexion. Even when we're doing the ankling, we're working on that dribble, we want to make sure that our toes are in dorsiflexion. As we come back, we're going to work on some A skips, making sure we keep the back nice and straight, keeping the chest big and the shoulders back. Make sure we have a good arm activation here, nice fluid rhythm as we drive our knees up, keeping the toes in dorsiflexion. Now we're going to work on our B skip, making sure that we don't kick our legs too far out in front of us. All that foot scrapes the ground. Again, stay nice and smooth, stay up tall. So we're going to work on some transition A skips here, okay? So we're going to start with the right leg, and then we're going to transition to the left leg. This is working on fluid. This is working on rhythm. We just want to make sure that we have good mind and muscle control over these movements. Now we're going to go into a B skip, transitioning from our right leg into our left leg. So we're going to do a lateral power skip here, okay? Just working on the lateral side of our body as we go down. Make sure we get a nice rhythm hopping in place, and then we're going to push with the back leg and drive with the front leg. Push and drive, push and drive. And then as we come back, we're just going to work the opposite side. Chain cycles, making sure we're very powerful, very aggressive here with the knee drive, with the arm drive. We want to make sure we're working on gaining height here. Drive those knees. Going to go into a broad jump. The minute our feet hit, go into a vertical and then land in a lateral position. This is working on fast twitch motor mechanics as well. We don't want to take too much time from the minute we jump and land. The minute we jump, the minute our toes hit, again, very twitchy, jumping back up. So here we're going to work on some stride frequencies. We're going to go from a 50% sprint, really focusing on the mechanics. Then we're going to hit it up to around 70%. And then we're going to have a nice decel at the end. We don't want to stomp too hard down on our knees. Again, our decel should look just like our acceleration. Nice and smooth transitions.
All right, so now we're going to work our way into the track work. We've got 800 meter repeats at 10 to 12 minute per mile pace. Trying to push the higher lactic threshold zone. So we're going to go work our way up to roughly 70-80% of my VO2 max. I want to sustain that for that 800 meter. Now notice when I run, I'm not lifting my feet up too high because we have the ruck, and I have about a 55-pound rucksack on. So it's more of a shuffle run, but I'm just maintaining that pace. Now that pace with the weight is going to jack up my heart rate. So we want to maintain that pace to push that threshold to improve my endurance for that longer duration of time. Now remember, we are getting ready, or I am getting ready to walk or run 150 miles for the Ruck 150 challenge. My goal is to finish the 150 miles within 3 days. So I have to maintain this pace in order for me to get to that 3-day mark at 150 miles. So we're gonna be training for this particular time, we're gonna be doing 4 total sets of 800-meter repeats, followed by 400 meters of a walk for active recovery. That's gonna be around 17 to 18 minute per mile pace on the walk. And then I'm gonna go ahead and repeat that over that time. So like I said, the goal for this session, lactate threshold, improving on economy of my movement, and making sure that I can push that threshold a little bit higher so that I have the ability to get through those times and get the 150 miles done in about 6 weeks time in under 3 days. Now, why is lactate threshold important? Well, first of all, it's a good predictor of performance. And as we go to improve our performance, we want to make sure that we can push those higher levels of that lactate threshold to sustain higher intensities for a longer duration of time. Right? The training focus is to understand or improve the lactate threshold so that it can lead to significant improvements in endurance performance. For me personally, this is going to help me push through these zones, maintain a solid pace and cadence so that I can get those 150 miles knocked out within that particular time frame of those 3 days. That's what we're doing. We did, like we said, 400 meters walking, 800 meters running at a 10 minute per mile pace with the Ruck and the weight vest on. All right. Again, we're getting ready for Ruck 150, 150 miles from Miami to Fort Pierce on Memorial Day. Check it out. Link is down below if you want to see more details. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.